Hey, what's up, boxing fans? This is the Rope-A-Dope Report. I am your host, Chris Carlson, and I had a great weekend this last weekend. If you're a boxing fan, which you got to be a boxing fan if you're watching this, you had a great weekend too. Obviously, we had the Showtime fights. ESPN2 had a nice little card, and to top it off, I think the Lightweight Lightning, the kind of lightweight tournament, so to speak, had a great all-purpose, all sorts of types of fights. Had some quick knockouts, had some brawls, just a great weekend. Anyway, this is the Rope-A-Dope Special Prediction Edition. We're going to go over Victor Vicious Ortiz. I call him the patient puncher, Victor Ortiz. And we're going to go against Andreas. Let me get his name right. Kotelnik. I believe it's Kotelnik. Now, I've seen Andreas fight a couple times. I've seen two of his full fights, and I've seen probably, chunks, when they'll, on the internet, on YouTube, when they'll have like an 8 or 10 minute highlight of the whole fight. I've seen probably 3 or 4 of those, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm an expert when it comes to Andreas. I'm not an expert no matter what. I'm just a fan. So, let's get that right out of there. He keeps his hands up. He gets hit a lot, or not a lot, but he still gets hit, considering he looks like he has a nice guard. He doesn't have a lot of head movement. He bounces around a little bit every once in a while. He kind of stays close enough to you. He's a good, what seems to be a good, solid fighter. A so-so boxer. Like I said, he looks the part. He's got the hands up. He looks like he's got a nice, clean jab, that's for sure. Very good jab. But and he's definitely fought better talent than Ortiz. And when I say better opposition, not talent, being that he fought someone just like Victor Ortiz. But he's definitely had better talent overall. He's older. He's a championship. He has a belt. So. He's a good fighter, man. He's a solid, good fighter. And I think this is a great test for Victor Ortiz. Now, once again, the patient puncher is what I call him. He's very aggressive. He's got really solid tight defense. Good head movement and body movement. Doesn't just bob his head. Moves his whole upper body very well. He's got really good footwork. He definitely is a puncher, and he comes at you, but he's patient, and that's why I call him the patient puncher. He's aggressive. He cuts off the ring. He's a good fighter. He's a very solid fighter, and we're just going to see how solid once he starts stepping up. And this is a good first step. It's a belt that gives him a little leverage, in the division. And I think that this is a great fight for him. I got Victor Ortiz in a win. He's been knocking everybody out. So I'm going to go late knockout or TKO. Maybe by a decision, but I think he's going to get to him late in the fight at some point. But I think it'll be he'll get rounds no matter what. This is going to be a good fight for him. And actually, the undercard, I don't know if this is official, but Rocky Juarez and Chris John, the rematch, is going to be on there. And they're going to do this in LA, so it's a big fight for Victor Ortiz. A lot of people will come out to see him. Rocky Juarez, people will come to see him. And Chris John, even though he's not big in LA and he's not big in America, he made a nice fight to establish himself in America. And, to his credit, he's willing to fight Juarez again, even though he beat him. And they called it a draw. He just doesn't want to do it in Texas, which, is understandable. So it's a good night for LA. They say either Staples Center or I went out the Home Depot Center, that tennis court that fits like 9 or 10,000 people. They've had some solid fights there. Either way, it's a good night. Maybe a star's going to be born, Victor Ortiz. After this, I think he should go for Bradley, obviously, because he has 2 belts. He's not a puncher. He's got some pop, but he's not a puncher, talking about Bradley. So I think that it would be a great fight for him. Or Urango, another belt, so he could get a unification thing going on. And also, man, if he fought one of those, he'd have 2 belts. And obviously, if he fought Bradley, he'd have 3 belts. And someone out of the Pacquiao-Hatton, or Marquez, or Nick Campbell, or someone in that division, even a Kendall Holt or a Torres or one of these guys, I think before he goes in the ring with someone really elite, I think he should go the route that I say. This is a nice step-up fight, then Bradley, then Urango or Urango Bradley, whatever, then really get into the beast of it. I think that'll really help him prepare. Anyway, I got Victor Ortiz. This has been another episode. Watch out for the box score on this fight and that whole night. Should be a great night. I'm going to have a box score after the fight. So this has been another edition of the Rope-A-Dope Report. I am your host, Chris Carlson. Peace.